Hi everyone, welcome to another week of our book club of my book, Stronger Than Your Excuses. So welcome back. This week we are on excuse number 6, my weight's insignificant. Let's get started. Since I was young, I have always been a little bit curvier. My sister was taller, skinnier one, and I was the shorter, rounder one almost our entire childhood. I don't remember growing up and eating unhealthily, but I don't remember growing up and eating healthy either. I grew up in the 90s when boxed and frozen meals were a big thing, and no one was thinking about what was going into your body. Fad diets were a thing, and most people kept up on the latest, greatest one. I can say that for most of my life, I wasn't fat. Although I was curvier and stockier, I did so many sports and was active that I stayed around a size 8 to 12. I don't remember a time before I was a size 8. That's how long I have been that size. Call it what you want, but to me, a size 8 to 12 is not fat. Back in the 90s, most people I knew were a little bit bigger than they are now. In 2019, I feel like we live in a more health-conscious society. I know my friends give me crap if I say I ate fast food, as should everyone's friends. Fast food is worse for you now than it was when I was a kid. It's just yummy and convenient to buy and eat. Not so much later when your body screams, "What did you poison me with?" I never grew up hating my body at any size because I was never conditioned to hate my body. I believe we are conditioned to view our lives and bodies in a certain way that can make us hate them. Whether it be from family, the media, or because of actions from other people, it is just not something we are born with. When you see toddlers and preschoolers interact, they don't care what each other's status is or not. All they care about is how they are treated by others. It isn't until we're thrown into society through school or television where we learn we must conform to what others think and say. The most destructive is what our parents think or say about us or themselves. Even if they love us, if they don't love themselves too, we grew up being conditioned we should hate ourselves because we want to be just like them. Growing up, my parents never mentioned body image and whether they liked theirs or not. Although my parents are what I call serial dieters, they never made it come across as hating what they looked like. We all know serial dieters. You know, the people who have tried every single weight loss diet out there, but yet none of them seem to work. The thing is, they all do work. It is the person that doesn't stick it out and wait for the change. Dieting is about changing your mindset. And if you aren't willing to do that, no diet will work for you ever. With one diet coming and going in our house while I was growing up, I never heard my parents talk about their weight or body shame themselves. I think this is the key that I didn't grow up shaming myself even though I have lived through every diet. Yes, I have seen Atkins, Weight Watchers, juicing, Slim Fast, even Jared from Subway got my parents into Subway, and a whole lot more. Behind the day-to-day conversations growing up, the word diet was thrown around a lot. The definition of diet per Google Dictionary is the kind of food a person habitually eats. I guess this is the way I have always taken it. There was never any negative connotation in my house about the word diet. Though growing up, I knew I had overweight parents. People think they must go on a diet because ... Fill in the blank. When you fill in the blank, it is never positive. Okay, maybe there are some people out there who do go on a diet because of great things. Someone is getting married and goes on a diet for their wedding. Or if you're a celebrity, you might go on a diet for a role. Most people fill in the blank with because I'm fat, overweight, ugly, too big. I don't fit into my clothes, not comfortable with my weight. My friends are skinnier. I want to be more attractive. I don't want to buy bigger clothes. And the list goes on. I have to say, I'm thankful I didn't grow up this way. This train of thought was never put in my head. So it's hard to see things that way. I might not have always liked my body and cared for my body the way I should have, but I've never had a hate for my body. Hate is a strong word, and I have more love for my body, for the life it has given me, than dislike for it. Even though for most of my life, I've had a bad way of thanking it in return. Disliking, but not hating my body helped when I did end up gaining a lot of weight. There is a term called the freshman 15. This references when kids go off to college and might take less than good care of their health, which in turn makes them gain weight. This can happen for various reasons, like working out less, eating poorly, or joining the college party scene a little too often. I can say personally, it was all three of those things for me. The dorm I lived in had an all-you-can-eat buffet that was included in my room and board. Since I never grew up knowing how to eat healthy, I ended up eating really unhealthily. I never learned how to cook or how to prepare a healthy meal. A healthy meal to me was a salad. I did not know a healthy meal could look different than just a salad. I met my husband right when I moved into the dorm, and by the time I had gained my freshman 15, we were officially dating. The girl he met at a size 8 changed to a size 10 in just a few short months. From the start, it was never a problem for him. He never mentioned the change in my weight, nor did he seem to pull away when I did gain the weight. If anything was going on in his mind, he never portrayed it on the outside. I feel like I've spent most of my life on a weight roller coaster. I ride it through the ups and downs and even the corkscrews in my life. It is not even just about weight, but the body image we have for ourselves. What I might think is a good weight for me is not going to be the same weight someone else thinks is a happy weight for them. You can disembark the roller coaster though. It's not easy and it requires work, but it is possible. The older I get, the more I learn what these requirements are. The biggest is you have to keep yourself accountable for how you treat your body. If you love your body, it will love you back. Your body takes care of you every day, in and out, without question. If you do not love it back by feeding it healthy food and giving it much needed exercise, it can turn against you. How you care for your body defines your physical and mental character. I've not been good to my body for most of my life. Although regular exercise has almost always been in my life through dancing, but eating healthy has not been. What I did not know until recently is you can't out-exercise a poor diet. Basically, if you're eating fast food daily and still work out every day, you will still be unhealthy. No wonder I was curvier all my life. When I became so busy with school, working, and dancing throughout high school, I ate a lot of fast food. Although I was dancing on point shoes several days a week, most of what I was eating was counterproductive. I did not know any other way to eat. I grew up being taught a meal is a meal. The difference in one meal from another is just the way they might each taste different. Of course, I knew vegetables were good for you, but I was not taught ways to prepare them to make them appetizing. I never learned the difference between deep fried and baked is actually a huge difference in your health. My lack of food preparation knowledge was one of the biggest detriments to my well-being. Thankfully, all the working out made me like my body, but my horrible eating habits didn't make me love it. I've had a rule most of my life. If I fit in my clothes, then I'm doing good with my weight. It also means I would have gotten off the roller coaster because I wasn't fluctuating with my weight anymore. At least that is what I thought. Until, little by little, I didn't like any of my clothes. After a while, they became uncomfortable. And slowly, I switched to just wearing leggings all the time. I would think to myself, why do people like to wear jeans? They're so uncomfortable. Truth was, it wasn't because they were uncomfortable. It was because they were now too small on me. I had gained weight and needed to go up a pant size, and instead, I just turned to leggings, which love me at any size. This way of keeping myself in check obviously never worked out well. Let me tell you, the weight does sneak up on you. One day I woke up and finally realized I was 10 to 15 pounds more than I wanted to be. I never got off the roller coaster. It was just making a climb I didn't know about. Let's be real here. It was a climb I didn't want to know about. My method was flawed and kept it easy for me to slowly destroy my body. My lowest point emotionally led me to my highest point on the scale. We wanted to have kids right after we married. Heck, we stopped using protection a couple months before we married. We thought if we got pregnant, it wouldn't matter. Our wedding was already planned. Although we did not conceive before our wedding, nor did we for months after. However, by the time our first wedding anniversary came, we had gone through 2 miscarriages. The depression you fall into in the wake of a miscarriage does nothing but feed into itself. I couldn't love my body because I couldn't love myself. I ended up becoming heavier than I had been in my life. Don't get me wrong, I had a very good reason to not love my body. However, you cannot stay in that state of mind forever. You have to wake up and continue on. Or something needs to help you wake up and continue on. I was lucky enough to become pregnant with my 3rd pregnancy on our first wedding anniversary. This pregnancy gave me my oldest son, Jared. Because of the depression from my miscarriages, I was 172 pounds when I became pregnant with Jared. That might not sound like a heavy weight for some of you. However, I am only 5'4", and at that weight, at that height, being 172 pounds is not just overweight, but it has pushed into obesity. This was before the extra baggage I was about to add with a baby. My pregnancy went well, and we had one hospital scare when my placenta moved and caused me to rush to the hospital in the early morning due to waking up bleeding. Thankfully, it ended up being good since I had placenta previa. This is when the placenta blocks the cervix, and if the placenta does not move prior to labor, a C-section is recommended. All in all, I ate a lot and enjoyed my first pregnancy, maybe a little too much. The week before I was to be induced, I had my very last doctor's appointment. It was going to be the last time I had to step on the scale and see how much I weighed before my son arrived. I weighed a whopping 198 pounds. I knew I would be gaining even more since I still had a week until I was induced. I never saw the scale over 200 pounds, but I knew I went there at some point in the following weeks. This has always been the highest point on my roller coaster. Not only was I almost 200 pounds at the end of the pregnancy, but I started off the pregnancy with extra weight to begin with. My fourth pregnancy, which brought me my son Troy, I still started overweight. Thankfully, lower on the scale than the first. I became pregnant with my second son just 3 months after I had my first. Although this was not fully the plan, it wasn't unplanned either. Since it took a while to have our first child, we didn't want to wait a year and go through miscarriages again. We figured it would happen when it is supposed to happen. We actually figured it would take a little bit, since it did the first time. That is not what happened though. My body knew what it was doing by pregnancy number 4 and had zero problems with giving me another son. The third round, we were willing to wait a couple years and did not want to play roulette again. We took precautions and it afforded me time to focus on loving my body again and giving it what it needed. The question is, will I ever be happy with my weight? Will I ever stay at a weight I like and want for a long period of time? I've been on this weight roller coaster for so many years. I feel like I'm never going to get off. Each year, I do learn new tactics on how to maintain my weight, but let's be honest, there are so many different diets out there to help you lose weight. Where's the discussion on maintaining weight? It's not completely easy to lose weight, but if you stick with almost any of the diets and see them through, you will lose weight. What happens after you lose weight, though? Society talks about work-life balance, but what about the balance of your health? It is more than just eating right. Your health is dependent on your self-love too. It comes down to more than work-life balance. It is a love-life balance. Let's start trying to balance just work and life. Let's start balancing our self-love against everything else in life. Work is part of life. It is a cyclical cycle. You cannot live without some type of work. It is just a fact of life. What we can live without, although not very fully, is self-love. On the majority, we do not love ourselves enough. What the world is missing is self-love. If we loved ourselves, we wouldn't feel the need to project our self-hate onto others. When you are happy and content with yourself, you will recognize everyone is just doing their best with what they have. I am now down to the smallest size and weight I have been since I even remember weighing myself. We are talking about middle school weight, but even a smaller size. Like I said before, I don't remember a time when I was less than a size 8, but I am now. It is going to be hard to stay this weight. Is it going to be hard to stay this weight? Yes, it is. Life wants to get in the way of loving myself. I have put up some barriers to help keep me on the right course. I've worked out most of my life, but through all this, I have found a plethora of new ways to work out that don't require a gym membership or anyone else for accountability. I cannot rely on others to help keep me on track. I cannot rely on a gym membership to keep me on track when I'm out of town. I learned to tolerate running. Even love it when I'm on vacation and have a great new place to run and scenery to see. I also weigh myself a couple times a week now. It is much easier to adjust a couple pounds than 5 to 10 pounds. A couple pounds off track is a day of good eating. Self-love also includes getting a good night's rest. Your body needs a good night's rest. Loving yourself looks different for everyone. We need to stop putting it on the back burner of work and life. What I have realized is work is part of life, but self-love equals life. My husband has stayed with me through the ups and downs of my weight, through the insecure times, to now when I'm confident in who I am. Adding a divorce to my life when I finally love my life seems like it would be counterproductive. It doesn't matter that I really don't love him. He has loved me through all these weight changes and has never said one bad word about my body. He loves my body no matter the size. I'm a woman that has never had to feel insecure about my weight with my husband. I know that is not always the case. He has stayed with me through all these years. I didn't love myself. I am a better person now than I was when we married 10 years ago. Is it wrong for me to leave when I feel I'm at the height of my life? In some ways, he has helped shape myself into who I am today. I might not have found this self-love path if I didn't get down in the trenches far enough that I had to claw my way out. Maybe I just need to remember he loves me no matter what. He has loved me through all this weight and emotional change. Would someone else? All right, that is another chapter of my book, Stronger Than Your Excuses. Remember to subscribe so that you get the notification and hit the notification bell so you get the notifications of when I post the weekly book club. We still have a lot of book to go, so subscribe and hit that notification bell. Hit that thumbs up right down below and leave a comment for me, and I will see you guys next week for our next chapter on my book club of Stronger Than Your Excuses. Bye, I'll see you guys next week.